these are the sorts of things that are great to get out of the way at the start. So yeah, like I was trying to say, I guess we'll find out pretty soon what we are going to have as far as our first weapon here. Early ban to shovel into green pen, and oh man. Well, just 20 rupees in the first chest, so nothing too fancy there, as we'll get this synced up fairly soon. Early map check too, seeing 2 blue crystals and Hera is a red crystal, so that's pretty good. Getting 3 crystals in Light World, decent chance that some good Dark World stuff is pendant instead of crystal, which means you wouldn't need quite so many items. And yeah, getting the time synced up here, we have the hammer! Hey, it's just like the sea! Just like the hash said! Alright, so the hammer is very, very good at the start here, because you can just murder everything, and there's bombs immediately too. This is your ideal sort of start. The hammer is enough to one-shot everything except the ball and chain guard, which you can two-shot. But if you use one pot and then go straight in with a hammer, that is generally the quickest way, since it's really difficult to get 2 clean hammer hits in with the ball chain spinning around. You tend to get hit the second time around, so very, very good start here. If there's any enemies that you do end up needing to kill because they're in the way, it's just a very quick one-shot. The only thing you got to be careful of is that you don't bonk the hammer on the sword from these guys here, because that gets very painful. Not only is it just difficult in general to get around them at that point, because they're just charging straight at you, even if they haven't alerted yet, they sure as heck will if you end up bonking them with the hammer on their sword. So that can be difficult. And then the other thing is, if you do end up doing that, it can be difficult to reposition yourself in time in order to actually get hits off without taking a bunch of damage. So seeing a slightly different thing here, if Hitsuyan didn't actually go ahead and kill the blue guard with a pot there, but Tojso did, it just advanced his item pool a little bit more. But then Hitsuyan deciding not to go far enough up, so as to kill one of the green guards instead. Does get a drop from it, mind you. Looks like they're in a different drop pool too, because Tojso got a 5 rupee from the blue guard, but Hitsuyan actually got the 10 arrow from green one. So it can be useful to kind of determine sort of item pool stuff at the start if you're looking for extra bombs. A little bit less important when you get bombs at the start here straight away, but you know, just from an observer's point of view, Tojso is actually going in. This is what I'm talking about with the whole ball and chain guard tends to hit you there as a hang. It was again extra bomb for Hitsuyan here. See, I mean, even if Tojso was to kill him, wouldn't actually give him the bomb because the 10 arrow has to be picked up first. So 1 extra bomb for Hitsuyan and the 10 arrows. 10 arrows not quite as important at the moment because the chances are you're not going to get the bow for quite a while anyway. So those extra arrows just aren't going to get used no matter what. But you never know, if we do get a bow at the end of Escape here, those 10 could be pretty useful. So yeah, other than that, pretty straightforward escape here. Tojso's going to have to watch his health a little bit, but there's a couple of heart pickups that he can get. 1 or 2 actually from the pots in the room to the left of where he is now, and then 1 at the very start of your escape sewers part, or the dark area at least. But taking a lot of hits here, I mean, he shouldn't take any more damage before getting to that quote-unquote checkpoint. But it's still a pretty nasty situation. Even the rats are dangerous at this point, because 2 rats or geese hits would actually knock him out here. So gotta be very careful going up here. Like I said, there is 1 heart that you can pick up on the way, and most definitely will, but it's a little bit scarier than you would like as a start here. Yeah, and there's 1 of the hits already, so that could be dangerous. Because now we're getting to the point of, if there's 2 snake hits here, then that's just enough to blitz him. But the extra heart and an 8 bomb drop as well, that is very fortunate. Looks like Hitsuyan is not going to get that. unlucky with the drops there. It's a 50% chance for any given enemy to give you a drop, and then it gives you the drop from whatever item pool they're in. There's 5 different ones. Each one has got 6 items, and it progresses one at a time with it. But unfortunately, just not getting any drops off it, so is down 6 bombs now compared to Tojso. Truly the most impactful of differences. But even then, like, having 10 bombs to go into Kakariko, or even just 9 bombs in this case, is a lot better than going in with 3, because it lessens the chance you having to actually buy bombs at the end of it. So, especially when the rat gets in the way and you drop one of those bombs, it looks like we just get more bombs out of here. So we're just going to see the top bit get exploded as well. That's pretty good. Nothing too great in Escape, but that's fine. We got the hammer. The hammer is one of the tools that you need for the getting into Dark World, so that's kind of important to have. And once again, every single time, always a rat in the middle of that door. I don't know why that's been happening. I've never seen it happen as much as I have in V29. It's not a product of the version. It's just, I guess, because we're playing more standard, we see that more often now. So yeah, kind of annoying. Anyway, we're seeing Hitsuyan has actually kept track of his items pretty well, so is not picking up the map at the end there. That's good. I often end up just seeing a lot of runners, and myself included, just pick it up anyway, because you don't want to end up thinking that you have the map and then you just actually don't, and it gets in the way because you end up missing an item, and that item could be important. So, speaking of important, that is definitely not what the blue tier is here in the repeat. That's a bit more important, though. Nice flute for Tojso here. Hitsuyan is going to be getting that after... Ooh, that's bombs off of the bushcrat. That would be useful if it didn't just chuck the bomb straight into the corner bit there. But, okay. And a sword to start with. So those bombs, not going to be necessary for Mini Moldon Cave, that's for sure. You don't really want to use the hammer there. Oh, and the book is Agadev's item. Oh dear. That is not what you want to be seeing. Oh, that could be dangerous. So, it's unlikely that given the fact that the flute has been here straight away, it's unlikely that that book is going to be necessary to get into Desert. Because unless there's a glove in Desert, then you're pretty much needing that book. But for the most part, it's not going to make too big of a difference for that. What it would make a difference for, though, is if either a Bombos tablet has got something, and because you don't have the book, you can't check what they are. So that's pretty dangerous. Speaking of Bombos, looks like that's in here anyway, and a lot of money as well. That's pretty good. Tojso really does need to be a little bit careful with stuff here, though. Down to just 1 heart. It's something you don't expect to be a problem in Kakariko, but hey, on Green Mail, a bomb recoil does 1 heart of damage, so if you're just a little bit too hasty on getting into the doorways. I have seen bombs, and yeah, again, experience as well. We've seen bombs be a little bit of a problem when it comes to taking recoil damage here. So we get to see what is in here as well. Blue mail, well, that just kind of nullifies my point entirely, because with blue mail, you end up taking half a heart of damage off a bomb. So never mind that then. Other than that, not a whole lot here. The extra heart piece is kind of nice. We see Tojso picking up all the rupees here just to make sure that we're getting close to how much we need for Zora, but nothing really great here. Like, blue mail is decent, but not really the progress you're looking for at the start, that's for sure. But still, when you've got the flute and a sword out of the Lost Woods, I don't think you can complain too much about Kakariko being a bit of a bust. So we see a blue penguin on Hitsuyan's side now, as the not-so-blue bird is pretty good here. So that's fine. What are we gonna get from Chicken House here? It is Yes, yeah, bomb recoil, that's for sure. We are going to get the flippers. All right, so all of this extra money which is being picked up is a pretty good thing right now. So that's pretty nice. We don't have a bottle to check Sick Kid, but I still feel like that's okay for now. It's just a first shield in the back of the tavern here. Alright, we'll just get Discord restarted real quick to see if these little audio hiccups go away, and then we'll continue. Alright, so it looks like Tojso just instantly checked the race game and is picking up the piece of heart anyway, because you might as well. You've got the flute, so fast travel is definitely a useful thing here. And is looking like Ice Rod Cave is the first play here. Wasn't really anything too impactful in the library, just a 20 rupees there. So that's not exactly something you need to come back for. Not too fussed about that. But yeah, there's a lot that could be at the Mini Modon Cave here. Always a useful place to go. Looks like Hitsuyan is actually going to go for the dam first, which is fine. This is generally the way around you want to go. Hey, vanilla bombs in there. It's one of the 2 single rupees was also picked up by Tojso there. So yeah, 2 of those in the game, just 1 singular rupee. Very exciting for sure, but it's okay. So we'll get to see what Hitsuyan gets for draining the dam here. And it turns out to be just an hour capacity, nothing too great. So hopefully, for Hitsuyan, for both of them really, hopefully we see another 300 in the Mini Modon Cave here, just to make sure that we have enough rupees to Zora. That'd be nice. Or for Hitsuyan specifically, we might want to see a glove here, because the glove would actually let him farm the money from next to Ice Rod Cave. Something Tojso is not going to want to go back to at this point. Get an extra bomb. Don't really need the extra bomb at this point. 9 is plenty for doing a lot of stuff right now. And so here we are going to see Bomber strats on the other side. As we see the Moon Pearl, 20 rupees, another 20 rupees, Harpies, and more bombs. Alright, so Moon Pearl is pretty good, but you need the glove to combine that with so you can do Dark World stuff. But that's a decent opening for it. Looks like Ice Rod Cave is going to be skipped for now, but I think what Hitsuyan might do here is go up to Hobo and then flute away, because having the flippers, you actually do have the ability to stand on the shallow water and flute away from it. Something you can't do if you're doing the Fate Flippers back here. So yeah, so the Dark World access, the only thing that's needed now is a glove, because you have 1 glove plus the hammer plus the Moon Pearl. That gets you into the Dark World, no problem. Starting with the hammer is really good for that. And it looks like the hookshot is the way we're going with this. So now, with that flute, East Death Mountain is looking pretty good. And we are going to see a flute from here. Are we going to see a flute to Ice Rod Cave or straight up the mountain? Looks like Ice Rod Cave. Making the conservative play here. I do like this. This just keeps everything in check. Make absolute sure that you are not leaving anything behind, but since Tojso's already done that, straight up the mountain he goes. Into the Dark Room here, getting the old man save point set up. This is a sequence break, but it's more just to get the save quit point open here. If the old man happens to have something good, that's great, but usually he doesn't, so yeah. Looks like just a safe quit from Hitsuyan here. It's interesting. I mean, worst case scenario, yeah, looking at a full-on reset here just to make sure that the save file is kept well enough. Because emulator crashes happen, and that is a Master Sword from the old man here. Well, he is supposed to be the grandfather of one of the 7 maidens, so I guess it kind of makes sense that he has that, right? So, looks like Hitsuyan is actually going for Zora stuff here instead. This is an interesting divergence. So we'd be really hoping for the 100 rupees in the cave here, in the Waterfall Fairy cave then, to make this work out. It's just a hard piece up there, so Spectacle Rock, nothing at all. Let's see what we get. Heart Container and just +5 to bombs, so not too great here. Looks like Death Mountain is probably the way that we need to go. As Tojso is making his way across. And what do we see? We see... Oh, there's the first glove! That's pretty good! Now, hopefully for Hitsuyan's sake, Zora just has a big fat 20 and that's it. Because he's not going to want to come back up here, let me tell you. Still, getting that first glove means that Aga is not required to get into Dark World, at the very least. That is off the table at this point. See the red mail already, and the silvers! Right, safety cave at the bottom of Paradox here. That's not too bad. But that glove is a big draw for Hitsuyan here. You'd imagine you'd probably still want to go to Death Mountain from here, but even at that, fantastic pickup. As Toyso's getting sick of trying to chase down the mini modems here. There's the mirror though, so that could help Tojso out. If the other glove is available elsewhere, then you could theoretically mirror to the catfish here. Oh, what an interesting setup for that bomb jar. I've not seen that one before. Using the spin strats is in that way is something I was not expecting. Good stuff. Speaking of stuff I wasn't expecting, Hitsuyan going into the Dark World straight away. Trying to leverage the advantage here. So we see Palace of Darkness, Ice Palace, and Thieves Town are the pendants here. I think that was just a heart piece that was on the floating island there. And then the other 5/6 crystal was Skullwoods. So that's pretty cool. Tojso looking like it's going to go and see about clearing the Tower of Hera here. Might not be able to because he might not have a fire source for this. If the big key is in the basement, or if an item is in there, it wouldn't be able to full clear the dungeon. But if the big key is in the basement, there's no clearing that at the moment. Hype Cave, big old dud. It was Tempered Sword up there, okay. It was something red, that was pretty much all I could get off of it at the time. Too busy looking at the map, trying to see stuff. So, it looks like Tower of Hera is clearable at the very least, and Hitsuyan just wanted to check Hype Cave. That's perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with getting a quick check on 5 items right there, and then going up the mountain. So, going to get the Master Sword as well with the sequence break here. Pretty good. And then we'll just have to see, with Tojso having the new information here, we'll just have to see what is at the top of the tower here. So it looks like Hitsuyan actually fell in the hole there, if I heard that right, which is a little bit unfortunate. But that's fine. So, another fancy bonus. So this is something I might need to look at. There's the lab! Okay! That's actually pretty funny. So, the lab being locked behind the flute at the top of Death Mountain here. Alright then, never mind all of that fun stuff. Technically now, if we get the boots, we have access to that book. That is something. There's also a chance that the basement is not required because the small key could be in the chest down there. So, yeah, that lamp actually puts the Master Sword that Hitsuyan has just picked up into logic there. So it's kind of interesting how that works out. You could get up to the top of here before rescuing the old man, and then you were supposed to come back down and get the Master Sword for that. So, oh, it's kind of neat. Having 2 swords this early is a pretty good relief, though. As we see, hey, bomb capacity, so no basement for this run. It's pretty good. So you imagine Tojso now is going to go back and check Spiral Cave. Skipping that the first time round because there wasn't really much chance of getting into Dark Death Mountain for him. You need to find both of the glove upgrades to do that. One thing of note here, though, is that there basically hasn't been any money on this mountain. Tojso is still sitting on 443 rupees here. Normally you expect to get at least like 80 to 100 up here, but there really hasn't been anything. It's just other items that have been around. So Hitsuyan is about to pick up the silvers in the bottom of Paradox Cave here, as we are seeing Spiral as well. It'll be interesting to see where Tojso goes after this, because unlike Hitsuyan, Tojso doesn't have the glove yet, so there's no Dark World access for him unless he does Aghanim. But Tojso doesn't know that the book is at Lumberjack, so it'll be kind of interesting to see where you go from there. Just a heart piece out of the final chest that you can check right now. Or should we say... No, it's the final one in total, because there was no ferry or anything up on the mountain either, so there's not enough hearts right now to go ahead and do the Spike Cave for Hitsuyan here. So Tojso is actually going to go over to Sahasrahla here. Respectable play. This has got more items than the Zora stuff, and you still can't actually clear Zora anyway. So definitely respectable play. So we'll see. Yeah, Hitsuyan is also making the smart play here of going to the Tower of Hera first. Ice Palace, Green Pendant, we knew this already, but it's good to just reconfirm it. So, looks like a big old stack of nothing in the back of Sahasrahla here. It's kind of unfortunate for Tojso. Hopefully Eastern Palace has got something if they decide to go there. Looks like he will, so that's fine. Would be interesting if the lamp is locking something in this dungeon, actually. Given the weird logic of getting up to Death Mountain to get said lamp. Alright. So, it's always annoying going through this dungeon, the Eastern Palace, without the boots when you're so used to being able to go through this stuff super fast. Hitsuya getting his lamb now. Gonna be feeling kind of good about that. Interesting, Tojso's not actually going down there. So with the hook shot, you can use that to cross this gap and grab the stuff there. Okay, so big key's there, but you can use the hook shot to cross that so you don't have to do a room transition. So we'll see how... I didn't even mention how the Moldorm fight went for Tojso before, but it went perfectly fine. We were watching it in the interim here. Looks like Hitsuyan's having a little bit more trouble. This is what Moldorm tends to do to me, to be honest. Just kind of, how do you deal with him in this spot sort of thing. It's just, oh, yeah. Straight down the middle as well. That is super painful, because that is about 40 or so seconds to get back up there. Oof. That's pretty rough. I don't think there's really been anything found in Eastern so far, though. I'll admit, I've not necessarily seen all of the item pickups here, but I don't believe there's been anything too great found there. But we'll see. There's still one chest to pick up here. And what Tojso's got to be looking for has to be the glove to get into Dark World here. Alright, Hitsuyan not getting caught out just yet. one more hit to go with a spin, and it's a poke instead, so we got fast mode, but deals with it well. Good stuff. Yeah, just a lot of money. Yeah, I can see he's got enough for Zora, though. So if Zora has something, that's going to be advantage, Tojso. Oh, just a blue rupee, too, man. The one nice thing for him, though, is that having the mirror here as well, you can just mirror and then switch to flute, and you can go wherever you want from here. So it's a nice quick exit from Easton, and then later on with the bow, it'll be a pretty quick comeback. But unfortunately, we know ourselves that the Palace of Darkness is a pendant. Tojso doesn't know that yet because he hasn't checked, but we do. So it's going to be a little bit more awkward than normal to come back for Eastern Palace here. But that's okay. So then Hitsuyan going to be doing his Spiral Cave here, and then we'll be heading probably towards the Village of Outcasts, if I had to take a guess. I imagine that would be the next obvious spot to go. So now we will get to see if Zora has something useful here. The odds of having 2 items that are great up here doesn't seem that high, but stranger things have happened. I mean, you saw the flute and the sword at the Lost Woods, right? So, stranger things. Alright, so it actually looks like Hitsuyan is not going for the Village of Outcasts just yet. Probably going to take that mirror and check some of the stuff down. Oh, just a heart piece for Tojso there. But the glove is the important bit. Gets him into the Dark World here. And we can progress from there. So, Hitsuyan, where are you going to go? You're going to go for Swamp Palace. That makes a lot of sense as well. Unlike the Village of Outcast stuff, this is actually a crystal that you can clear. So, definitely like the idea of this. Getting a little bit mauled by the weird... What even is that thing? It's a stupid enemy that does 2 hearts of damage on green mail. That's the annoying part. But, yeah, it's a thing. So, yeah, we'll just have to see if Swamp Palace actually has anything useful here. Still on your Master Sword, so it's a little bit more awkward to do the Argus fight, but honestly, if you're waiting for Argus fight to be, for the Argus fight to be good before you come in here, you're probably not going to be coming in here at a good enough time. So, yeah, I like this as a second crystal. There's probably something good here, given that you have all the tools to get into it. As we see the very lackluster hype cave for Tojso here. Couple of hearts, but when you're already on red mail, anything more than about 7 hearts is overkill for these guys. So, see the great use of the hookshot here, something I've been trying to pick up as well. Using the hookshot when you don't have the boots to keep the items set up. And now we see once again Feast Town, Palace of Darkness are pendants, Ice Palace is green pendant, Crystal 6 is Skull Woods. So Tojso is actually going to divert a little bit here and is not going to go Swamp Palace just now. Maybe waiting until the boots are available or just a better sword in general before going in. Is instead going to check the South Loop here. Might also end up just mirroring and then fleeing over to free so you can check the other stuff in Village of Outcasts. Just a red rupee at the moment. This Haunted Grove Ledge Cave is really easy to forget about though. Especially if you get the mirror late and you've already done the checks down here. It's really, really difficult to keep track of. And if it actually has something good, which it doesn't this time, but if it does, then yeah, pretty painful when you don't remember to pick that up. Let's see, and I want to say Hitsuyan just checked the big chest. No, he wouldn't have checked the big chest yet. You do that on the way up. But we are going to see 100 rupees here, so now he has enough for Zora. Probably isn't going to want to do that, though. Although Cafe Zora could be a decent combo. Check here, just a heart piece. Going straight for the back, despite getting the big key early. That is interesting. I can understand why, though, because with no boots, it takes forever to get around that bit. So if map and compass are actually there in both on left side, then that's going to be a pretty good time save. Dig game, not really paying out here. You have to screen transition before you can use the mirror for that because of the glove, because of the whole digging thing there. So it takes a bit more time to walk back around. So where are you going to go, Tojso? You are going to go into free and do the Village of Outcast stuff as suspected. So what are we going to see? The rest of the swamp here, just a 20, and the compass. There is an item on left side, at least one. So doing left side, if you do left side first here, might be the slightly quicker play. But again, Pegasus boots make it really quick in comparison. We don't have those. There are 2 items on that side. Of course there are. There's always 2 items on that side when you want to skip it. Why would this be any different? Alright, so Argus is going to have an item, and then we're probably going to see Hitsuyan come back into the dungeon for the other stuff here. Meanwhile, Tojso going straight up for Skullwood's early check here. Interesting, very interesting divergence for sure. We'll just have to see if this works out. Probably going in the front door first. This is not a play I've seen too often. But gets at least one of the items, so maybe that's all that's here in this front part. Who knows? Meanwhile, again, this fight is really annoying when you only have the Master Sword compared to Tempered. You're used to having these things take 1 slash, but having them take 2 just prolongs the fight a lot. And you're lucky to get this down in less than about 3 cycles. So seeing Tojso going into the chest at the top here, just a map. Yeah, there's not even anything to speed up the second phase here either. There's no Fire Rod to get multiple hits on the cycles. And the Titan's Mitt. Oh, that is a very profitable early Skullwoods check here. Man. You don't have a key though. You need to open that chest to get a key, Tojso. That's pretty huge. If the Fire Rod is on something like, or in Hookshot Caves, somewhere like that, that's going to be a really big edge for Tojso here. And yeah, Hitsuyan is actually going to go back in. I was hoping that there wouldn't be just a flat-out skip of this here. That could be very dangerous. We know the second glove is not here, but could still be something good. You can imagine the Fire Rod being here, and then the Fire Rod would just lead to a full clear of Skullwoods, and that would give him access to the Titan's Mitt, which would be very good. Seeing just a heartbeat there. Tojso has yet to check the Lumberjack, so is going to go and check that just now. Is going to get that ominous sinking feeling of a book being here. But Desert is at least reachable without this. So Desert access, definitely not the problem here. Yep, Tojso could also do the Blacksmith stuff without being a sequence break at this point. It could be pretty good. We might... Based on this, we might be seeing Graveyard Ledge come in here, actually. And then maybe just walk over to Catfish. There's a long walk, but it could be pretty good. Just making sure not to get Murder Dactyl too much here. Yep, that is the book at Lumberjacks. So if one of the tablets has got something, that is just a very dangerous square to have. The only one that is worse than that is if the mushroom is up there, because the mushroom is just like the mushroom or the shovel being there are outright terrifying. Because you never know if that one item that you need is actually that, and you could just be looking everywhere around. So, nothing going on Graveyard Ledge this time. We're about to get our check at the end of Swamp Palace here as well. So we'll see if that yields anything. And with the Titan's Mitt, it's not even a long walk around to get out of the graveyard here. So it's a very nice check. You see, half magic? Okay, half magic is not bad. It's not what you're looking for, but it's a very nice thing to have around. Excellent for the gauntlet, too. And just a heartbeat. Okay, so nothing great in Swamp Palace. That's unfortunate for Hitsuyan here. because you imagine Tojso might not check there for a while. And if that happens, well, Go Mode Swamp is a lot faster than not Go Mode Swamp, especially with Pegasus boots, so as you expect that we'll get due to Desert Palace. So, a little bit on the unfortunate side for Hitsuyan, but I can, again, completely understand wanting to do the crystals straight away. So here, Catfish is going to yield just a blue rupee. Absolutely worthless. Okay, so let's hope for Hitsuyan's sake that he never goes up to check Catfish Sora again, because that would be pretty much a massive time waste here. So, where is Tojso going to go with these Titans mids here? Most predictable play would indeed be to go for the Misery Maya area. You want to check this because it is a crystal. You want to see what you need for this particular dungeon. The other place that would be good to go would be Darkworld Death Mountain. So you can see that. Looks like Ether is our vanilla requirement for Misery Maya here. Hitsuyan's also going to be very disappointed with these 10 arrows that are going to get picked up from the digging game here eventually. So, just bombs and a heart piece. Nothing too special, but there is the desert check, and there is also the checkerboard cave that can get done here. Looks like that's what's going to happen first from Tojso here. This is usually what I do as well. I tend to like to do this bit first, just because I'm not expecting to... if I'm going into Misery Maya anyway, it's a really good place to just go and see, because you don't want to be walking away from Misery Maya afterwards. And it looks like we're not even going to see desert right now. That's interesting. Because this is going to be a safe quit from here, and you'd be thinking, well, why not just have a look in desert as well whilst you're there? But who knows? Could be just expecting the boots lock, and that'd be that. It would also be a bit of a disgusting land molar fight right now, because not even a bow to go with that, so you'd be using hammer at best. It's not great. So maybe not actually wanting to do that immediately. So we have other options as well. Again, just seeing the crystal layout here. Looks like Hitsuyan is also going to check Skullwoods early. This is a play that was typical a version or two ago. I don't see it nearly as often nowadays. And it's interesting to see it, quote-unquote, back in vogue, if you will. Very interesting to see that both of the runners here decide to make this this early play. Without the fire rod, it's not like you can finish the dungeon, so gonna get rewarded for it this time, but it's just interesting to see that as a setup. And there is our final sword. So with the fourth sword being on the floating island then, that's probably never gonna get picked up. There's not really a reason to. So yeah, there was no key on this side for Hitsuyan to just get through, so it's going to have to go through this way. At the very least, the other item for this dungeon was also here in the front half. So there's nothing locked behind the fire rod here except the red crystal, which is pretty good. Looks like it is indeed boots locked. Everything is unfortunately required for that. Big key on the torch, you kind of need that in order to finish up here. So there's no chance of getting away from the boots here, which means that the book is most definitely plausible in the logic. Both items in desert are available though, so that's going to be another point that Tojso can just check off immediately. He knows that desert is only for the crystal now. No need to go back into that area until you can at the very least clear Misery Maya. So that's fine. It looks like both players are now going to be going for the Darkworld Death Mountain play. This is what I would have been thinking of slightly earlier, but at the same time, I mean, Hitsuyan is basically doing it the way, the time I would be thinking on it, but the Misery Maya area is a really good check too, because you might just be able to sneak out a clear of the Desert Palace, right? You might just be able to get through that without actually using the cane, not even the cane, the boots at all. So it's fine. Seeing a couple of different ways around here. Tojso is going to go and open up the Total Rock portal. Since that is a crystal, you're going to have to clear that at some point anyway. Whereas Hitsuyan is just going through the basement part here. Checking these chests on the way up. There's the fire rod, so you did have to double dip Skull Woods. That's very interesting. Okay. That's really kind of annoying, actually. But both players did the check, as it is just vanilla Quake as well. So that Bomb Burst medallion, not exactly that useful. Nice high five between the two. So you don't even need the Bomb Burst to do Ice Palace if you're hanging out. So it's kind of worthless here. Not gonna lie. So that's weird, to be honest. To see the shovel coming up here. What else are we going to see? We're going to see a heart piece and the bomb. So we could be looking at Pyramid Fairy as the next progression here then. Because Tara Hera has been cleared. That was one 5/6 crystal. Then the other 5/6 crystal, as it looks like Hitsuyan actually is going to go and get Gold Sword. This early into the run? Well, early in quotation marks, but this relatively early into the run with so many bosses left to clear, I actually like this, because Gold Sword does make a decent difference on quite a few of the bosses. So it's good just to get it out of the way. And I mean, if you're going to flute away from here anyway, because what else have you got to check up here right now? Absolutely nothing. If you're going to flute away from here anyway, you may as well go ahead and do that. It'll only be tempered for him at the moment, but you imagine the desert check is going to come at some point soon. Or apparently Ice Palace is going to come up now. Okay. Yeah, Hitsu doesn't yet know about it, but you imagine that when it comes down to it, he's going to end up getting that sword. Because you will check the desert ledge, and you would just, if you're that close to it, you may as well. But yeah, strictly speaking, right now it's not Gold Sword for him, but... so Hitsu is actually... Hitsu's going into ice. Tojso is actually going in and using the red potion to check Bumper Cave here. This is technically not in logic at the moment, but that's fine. The red potion's pretty good for this. And if this is a good item, that's going to be a massive edge. Not this time, though. It's definitely a secure vault, if nothing else, but not really the way that you want to see that go. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to dip Ice Palace, then doing it with Tempered Sword is just much better than doing it with Master. At least there's an early small key that does make the ridding a little bit better for this dungeon as a whole, because you can do some cool stuff with that. But other than that, there's not a huge amount here. I like the play from Tojso going ahead and getting the other... maybe he's not going to get the other 5/6 crystal. He's debating on it. Looks like he is. So, I like this play because this opens up a new location based on the item that you just got. Whereas Ice Palace technically could be done with Bomb Burst, so it probably will end up leading to something. Let's be honest, this is V29, everything leads to everything. But I've gotta say, if I had to rate the two plays here, you know, I would personally want to do the rest of Skullwoods first, because that 5/6 crystal, pretty tempting. Also haven't checked Pyramid yet, so it's 3 items that you're checking with that. It's pretty good. You could also, in Tojso's dudes, you could also go ahead and do Swamp Palace beforehand if you really want to, and then just combine doing a dungeon with doing Pyramid Fairy. Oh, Hitsuyan not quite getting the bomb jump here. Lucky third? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, falling in once, missing the jump the second time, and then getting the third time. Third time is the charm. Alright, so it's going to be a real quick thing to get to him off here. And with Tempered Sword, that'll be perfectly fine. There shouldn't really be any problem for... Well, so long as he doesn't run out of magic trying to light the torches up. Gotta light these torches quickly, too. That one at the bottom's gonna go out. Yeah, it's fine. So, using that small key, we're gonna see the right-hand side of Ice Palace first, which is pretty good. So we'll just have to see if there's any items up here. There are 3 items in total in Ice Palace, so hopefully at least one of them is in the free chest that we see over here. Definitely doesn't have to be, but it could well be. Just a compass out of that one. Yeah, this seed is super open because Tempered Sword plus... not even Tempered Sword, but the Titan's Mitt plus the Flute plus the Mirror plus all the other fun stuff there. There's a lot of different places that can be checked. Neither of the Medallion dungeons, yeah, just Moth just gets melted by the Tempered Sword here. No items left in Skullwood, so it's strictly for the crystal, but that crystal is the other 5/6 one, so the Super Bomb is now available. So you see the big key picked up for Hitsuyan here, which is fine. That lets you get the big chest on the way if you want. Might not actually want to, though, because there's still... That's an interesting little thing. I've seen a few people do that, but I've never tried to do it myself, actually. Nice little clip there. Oh, standing in the chest. It's always an interesting. We're going to see the bomb jump from here as well. This is actually a lot easier than it looks to do. And yep, very nicely done. You just got to stand in that corner when you're facing left, and the bomb placement is super easy. So it's a lot nicer to do than some of the other bomb jumps in this place. So Tojso, you're gonna go. You are gonna go and do Swamp first. I really like this routing because even though we know that there's nothing in there at this point, it's a crystal dungeon. It's the second shield for Hitsuyan there. It's the second. No, it's the third crystal dungeon that he's gonna do. So this will be the third dungeon that he has cleared, which will give him progress in the seed, and then you can go straight up and do Pyramid Fairy afterwards. So I really do like this play here. Meanwhile, just one more item left in Ice Palace here. Are we gonna have to see Cold Stare for it? We might. Oh, not getting the clip this time. Got it. Oh no! Oh, that is rough. If the item is in the big chest here, that is a massive sink because you have to fall down. You can't get it from this side anymore. Oh no! So the thing is, those blocks will only reset upon floor transition. But because of the crystal switch here, there's actually no way of getting back to that. No, there is a way. Because you could use that small key that he's got to hit the crystal switch in the room up right from here, and then go back upstairs, right? And walk from that side. Surely you could do that from here. So this could be really nasty for Hitsuyan if the item isn't here. Just have to hope for his sake that it is. As we do see Sword Bomb Burst there, so that Fire Rod could be used on Cold Stare. Fire Rod does gold sword damage to him, so it takes him out in 4 hits each. And it looks like he didn't get away with it. Oh no. At least a green pendant is something that could be useful. But there's an item left in the big chest of Ice Palace, and you'll need to go back in for it. That is really annoying. Looks like he's gonna skip it though. Oh, so that could be big if there's like even just the bow or any of the required items from here. That could be extremely detrimental. So we'll see the gold sword show up for Hitsuyan there. He might well pick it up on the way past, maybe not, who knows, but either way, it's still... knowledge has been gained about it. He knows that the final sword is available. So, yep, as we just retread through the steps here, let's see what items we need for Go Mode. We need the bow, we need the Ice Rod, we need Quake, and we need Ether. We need Kin Samaria, and we need the boots. So a lot of items still to pick up. And when you're 50 minutes into a seed almost, that's kind of worrying. Because you think, well, that's 6 items away from having this done. That's a big concern. You gotta think, have I done something wrong here? That's not normally how these things go nowadays. Yeah, bow too. So As I think, Hitsuyan is going to pick up the gold sword. The gold sword, I recently learned, is like 1 pixel wider than the tempered sword, so that tends to be why it causes more lag. But it also makes a few things a little bit easier. If you've ever noticed that the gold sword actually makes the dashes in Ganon's tower, like with the red bull guards, it actually makes those a little bit easier because it's slightly wider, more chance of just pushing them out of the way. So, you know, it's kind of weird, but at the same time, like, it's often annoying because it just lags the game more. You know? But it works out when you have these sort of particular situations. And we do see Tojso has gone left side first. I kind of neglected to mention that, but he has gone left side before doing the rest of the dungeon here, which is good in the sense that it's going to get this thing done in one shot. Won't have to walk back, and that is pretty useful. So we'll see just the same 2 items picked up there. Hitsuyan is probably going to go ahead and check the checkerboard cave now, find the big old 20 that was in there, and then probably save quit after doing a Gina, I'd imagine. So then, where do we go? There's 1 item left in ice. There is all of Village of Outcasts that haven't been done yet, including the blacksmith. That stuff has not been done. And there's the Pyramid Fairy and the associated Pyramid Ledge item. And then there's that green pendant. That's pretty much the extent of it right now. There has to be at least 1 progression item within that hot mess. So let's pass it off to you guys. Where do you want the next item to show up? Because it can't yet be that book, because the book requires the boots to get. You need to be able to bonk into the tree in order to shake the branch. I guess it's just disintegrate the greenery from it. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I don't quite know how the lumberjacks cut that tree. It doesn't seem normal. I guess in Minecraft when you cut a tree off the base, then all the leaves start breaking off, right, and just disappearing. Kind of like that, except, you know, a long time before Minecraft was even a thing. Who knows? We're checking the green pendant right now, so let's see what Sahashalasha has for us today. As Tojso, with the Tempered Sword, is actually going to make this Argus fight a decent bit quicker than what Hitsuyan, and it's just 50 rupees. Oh boy. Right, Palace of Darkness is also something that could be checked as well. Don't have the resources to make the tree tip over. Yeah, something like that. Okay, so Green Pendant was not it. And that's probably making Hitsuyan feel really bad about this right now. We're going to see the Fire Rod quick kill here as well. Go for it. Not quite. Okay. And he gets... Oh, didn't actually get hit by that. Okay, that's pretty good. I thought Argus had actually just fallen flat in his face there. But whatever, doesn't matter. Point is, Swamp Palace is done. We're about to see Pyramid Fairy from Tojso almost 100%. I don't really see a reason why you wouldn't right now. And then, if that doesn't work out, I'd imagine Village of Outcasts would be the next bit, because I would imagine that Tojso would want to do Thieves Town before doing Ice Palace, because Thieves Town's got more items in it and is a quicker dungeon to do. Oh yeah, the shovel's a thing as well. I actually kind of forgot about that. I will admit, I normally check these things immediately when I get them, if I can, because every time I don't, especially the mushroom, I find. If I don't check the mushroom straight away, it always has an item, and it's really annoying. But I kind of forgot the shovel was even a thing here. So, yeah, with the green pendant, it got the same, but then you gotta go and check that green pendant, and it's really slow. I don't know. Ice is definitely a lot slower than Thieves Town, even if it is green pendant. I'd still imagine, because of the other items in Village of Outcasts, that Tojso would want to do Thieves Town first. That's my guess. But that's why I'm here and not running the thing myself, because it's up to them what they want to do, and we'll just have to see if that turns out to be true. So we see just a heart container there. There's no reason to get that at this point. Both of these guys have been more than comfortable with having 11 hearts red mail. So what do we got, Pyramid Fairy? Just a heart piece and a red rupee. It's not there. Okay. So where next then? We're going to see the Palace of Darkness dip? It looks like we might. This is interesting for Tojso because I believe the only bottle that's been picked up so far, he used the red potion to do the spike cave. So there's no chance to potion glitch here if it turns out that the place is bow locked. And you might wonder, why does that even matter? Well, if there is an item in here which is locked behind the bow but not locked behind Helmasaur, you would want to get that first time through. And in Tojso's situation, he would not be able to. So it's kind of interesting. Alright, yeah, neither of them are Chet Kid too, so that comes in as part of the Village of Outcasts route for me. I would imagine that after doing the overworld stuff in Village, that I'd mirror out and do that. But then again, not the runner at the moment, so we'll have to see. So Hitsuyan is going to go straight ahead and check the Pyramid Fairy just as Tojso has done. He might end up doing Catfish Zora instead of Palace of Darkness here. That might be the difference, because Toyzo's already done that stuff, whereas Hitsuyan has not. Yeah, so if this first chest doesn't have a small key, and it does this time, but if that first chest doesn't have a small key, you can't keep going in this dungeon. There has to be 4 small keys out of the first 6 chests which are accessible. But if that one's not a small key, you can't get to here, and you can't get to the next 2. If one of these is not a small key, then the dungeon is still bow locked. So we'll have to see. Yeah, so there's one there. So that can let you get to the big key chest you can see on the side here, which is what Tojso is going to go for first. So this could be an item, and I guess when there's 2 small keys here, it's not always, but it's much more likely to be an item at this point here. This could actually still be bow locked if neither of these are small keys. But no, small key palooza this time, so the back is definitely accessible here. The only thing that the bow locks at this point is 2 chests on the right-hand side. It's all 4 of them here. That actually could be kind of bad for Tojso for the same sort of reason, though, that now the expectation is that there are 2 items on the bow side. But with these keys in hand, the bow could definitely be in the back of this dungeon here. It looks like Hitsuyan is actually going to go ahead and skip the heart piece here as well. Didn't actually check it before going into the dungeon. So, not the dungeon, the pyramid cave. So, it's fine. So, it looks like, yeah, just using the bomb. That's a kind of interesting use of the bomb there to kill the mini Helmasaur. I like it. So it's just a map that's lending credence to at least 1 small key being on the other side where the bow was required. We'll just have to see. Yeah, there's 1 small key there. Okay, so it's still possible that there is a small key on the bow lock side as well. It depends what's in this final room here, because the Dark Maze, which is locked by a small key as well, cannot have a small key in it to prevent self-locks. It's the big key there. So there is 1 small key on the bow lock side and 1 item. It's going to be interesting. Meanwhile, Hitsuyan is indeed doing the Catfish Zora check here. So unfortunately going to lose a little bit of ground to Tojso here. It's a really sweet bomb jump setup here. Having no problem whatsoever. There is an item on Helmasaur. Map and compass have been found here, so there is definitely 1 item there. That's a little bit unfortunate. 10 arrows, but this has to be an item in the final chest to check here. So this could still be something good. Otherwise, big old waste of time here. And it's a B. Alright, so nothing good in the accessible parts of Palace of Darkness here. But we know that there is one item that is locked by the bow, as well as the item on Helmasaur. Now, if the item on Helmasaur is something that's necessary, that isn't going to help anyone, because you're going to need the bow regardless to get in there. But if the item turns out to be at the bow lock side, and Hitsuyan does decide to go over there, that would definitely help him out, because he could use the potion glitch to get there, whereas Tojso did not have a potion to glitch with. So it looks like both players are going to have to converge on the Village of Outcasts here. Hitsuyan does have a few places that he needs to check compared to Tojso, but there's not really much of a reason to do a lot of that right now, because most of the stuff you're going to want to do... So it looks like Tojso's not even checking the rest of Village here, just going straight in for Thieves Town. Alright. I guess you've seen that one pendant dungeon was basically worthless, so you may as well just go, well, items probably in this one then. Yep, Desert Palace is locked by the boots, so we need those. We need the bow, we need the ice rod because of Turtle Rock. Misery Mire and Turtle Rock are both vanilla medallions, so we do need both Quake and Ether here. And we also need the Cane of Samaria. So, a lot of stuff still to get. And when you're an hour in and you've still got 6 items to find, you've got to be getting worried at this point. I mean, Hitsuyan's got to be worried that he's missed an item in ice, and that item's going to end up messing him up big time. That's got to be the threat for him. Whereas Tojso's like, I've just wasted a whole bunch of time in Palace of Darkness for nothing. There's no way that I can be winning this right now. But both players are pretty much converged in the same spot, so there's not too much separating them right now. Just a few overworld locations that Tojso has checked that Hitsuyan is not. And even that's not a big list at this point, because Hitsuyan has cleared up quite a few of them. It's mostly Bumper Cave and the Graveyard Ledge is the big difference that way. So, yeah, not a huge amount to separate the two. We'll just have to see if Tojso actually has to go into Ice Palace at some point. That could make a bit of a difference. If Hitsuyan can find a bow before maybe having to go in Palace of Darkness, that would make a big difference. I don't remember if there's still an item in Easton at the Armor's Knights. That would be more of a reason to go over there if the bow is picked up in here. If the Pegasus boots are picked up, you've kind of got to be worried about the book has to be the next progression, because there are no items left in Desert Palace to get. Only the crystal, which is not a 5/6 crystal. We've already checked Pyramid Berry. So... no, Easton was definitely checked by Tojso. He went into Easton at the start. That was definitely looked at. I didn't really see all of the items in there because I think Hitsuyan was doing the boss at the time, but it was definitely looked at. Alright. Doesn't look like we've found anything in here so far, so then you're going to be thinking, oh boy, you know, this is the second pendant they've gone into, and if there's seriously nothing in here, I'm going to have have words with this seed. So one interesting thing, if you actually have the hookshot, you can use the hookshot on the big key doors there, and you can actually just speed things up a tiny bit with that. It's not hugely significant, but it's worth noting anyway if you've got it out for some reason. Maybe you've got it out because of the other spots that you can just use it in here. Just a heart piece, wow. There is an item still left on blind, right? So as the only reason you would still be doing the rest of this dungeon. So yeah, this is not looking great for either of our runners here. At the very least, for their sake, both of them are doing this, so it's not as if there's a huge edge from one person doing this and the other not. At this point, really, both of them have done pretty much the same thing when it comes to the stuff here. It is really just which pendant dungeon have they not dipped, and Tojso has not dipped Ice yet, whereas Hitsuyan has not dipped Palace Darkness. That's pretty much the only other separating factor in all of this right now. So, are we going to see Blind with a progression? No! Just a heart container. What is going on in this scene? There's just nothing anywhere. This is the sort of scene that you get very frustrated when you're playing, because it's like, everything I'm doing is wrong. How is this happening? I've gone in so many places and just nothing is working. What is going on here? So, yeah, Hitsuyan is not happy with this either, and I don't blame him. So, now we've just got the other overworld stuff to check here. I don't remember if Hitsuyan actually checked the brewery over here, the bomb hut, before going in. Doesn't seem like he's going that way. He's going for Sick Kid first. Oh, if it's a Sick Kid, that's going to be depressing for both of them here. Let's have a look. It's the mushroom. Time for a little bit of badgering. But Tojso's not going to get that recently. That's why you're sick, Sick Kid. Don't do mushrooms. That's pretty much the moral of the story here. Don't hoard mushrooms in your house. You're going to get sick. So, yeah, looks like Hitsuyan did not do that first either, so that's fine. Tojso hopefully is going to pick that up before too long. Sick Kid's a really easy place to forget if you're like an hour in. That's definitely something. So, if that actually turns out to be what's necessary, and it's a quick enough check with the flute here. Oh, there's Quake though! Doesn't do anything immediately, because you need Cane of Samaria in order for that to actually work as well. But it's good to finally get an item. It's been almost half an hour since we've gotten an item here that's actually been necessary. Now, one thing that Hitsuyan can do that Tojso can't do right now is the fake powder glitch. So if Hitsuyan decides to use the fire rod to like completely drain his magic, he could actually go ahead and check the magic bat. Hey, the bottle smiths this time. Glass blowers, they need a lot of heat for that, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, Hitsuyan could actually go ahead and check the magic bat whilst doing the purple chest and associated stuff here. No, he can't even do that because he needs the Cane of Samaria for that. What am I talking about? I don't know. No fate powder at the moment. Yeah, I just realized. You can't fate powder with just a fire rod. It's exclusively the cane. Don't worry about it. These things are easy enough to forget. I just think, oh, he's got the powder. We've got to be able to do it, right? It's okay. So, different approaches to getting to the shovel spot here. I don't actually know which one is faster. Looks like Tojso's might be a little bit quicker because, speaking of the cane, oh boy, the shovel leading to the cane. Now all we need is the purple chest to have the ice rod, and Turtle Rock is looking pretty good right now. Okay then, so... Nope, it's Ether. Ooh. And suddenly everything opens up at once. So immediately you've just gotten Kane and Ether here. Your first thought has got to be, right, Misery Maya, done. Let's go. You have everything you need for this now. And this could lead to Ice Rod for Turtle Rod to have the boots. That is definitely something. Looks like trying very hard to get the Frozen Bird over here. As the Hitsuyan... Oh, this is going to be really painful for Hitsuyan, actually. Because he needs to... Oh, that is not a good spot for that. He's going to lose that purple chest. As we do get ourselves a bird toss. You need to be a bit further in before you can throw the bomb there. Yeah, that's going to be really bad for Hitsuyan. I don't think he's going to get that back. Is there a way that you could do that with Bomb? Oh no, he's going to get it back. Okay, lucky. Alright, well that works. I did not expect that purple chest to be obtainable from that setup, but okay. So it's going to get Ether, but it's still missing Cane of Samaria because of the shovel. You've got to think that Mushroom is going to be checked fairly soon. And that's actually what's going to happen now. You see, because he's not fluting away, he's going to be walking over to the shovel spot here. So he is going to get Cane. Very nice that this is not going to troll Hitsuyan for too long. Because that's a nasty spot for it to be. Very, very horrible here. So now you can ask the question of will he Fate Powder? Because now at this point, since we've actually got this set up, you could drain all of your magic and then use the Cane of Samaria. It does the can't use the thing, and then you immediately switch to either the mushroom or the powder, and it allows you to use that item even though you don't have the magic, or in the mushroom's case you don't have the powder to do so. Uses a thing of magic powder. It's kind of weird. It's incredibly useful, mind you, in the top of GT. Very, very nice thing. So you'll often see people hard reset with the mushroom if it turns out to be nothing because of that glitch. So really, the only edge that Hitsuyan could have at the moment is if it turns out that the mushroom actually leads to the ice rod or the boots here. But since that isn't getting checked at the moment, yeah, both players are still incredibly close. Not gonna lie, this is good stuff. Really good to see. It's what I would expect from these two players. They are both incredibly capable, and yeah, just using a nice little fire rod through the block glitch here. It's always a fun one to see, except when you don't use the fire rod in time, and then you have to do the puzzle normally, and it's really boring. But these guys are too good for that. So it's always good to see. It does take a long time for that hallway to open up, though. It's really annoying, but it does have an item. It's not an item that we need, but it did have an item, so that is still something to keep in mind here. That it is most likely a chest that Hitsuyan is going to check as well. So that's fine, because you've got to be thinking, well, we finally got some new items, and they're all pointing to this dungeon, so surely something has got to be here. And as it turns out, yes it was. Those are the good old Pegasus boots, which Tojso has christened, and that is incredibly good to see here. So this is great for two reasons. Three reasons really. One, it's the Pegasus boots, so looks like Toyso's not being counting his items properly here, unless he's just going through this room in order to save the key. He's gotta be going through this room to save the key, right? Yeah, because you can... Big key is there, so then you just go straight up. Goes to that. Cool. Order has been restored. So, yeah, obviously, they're the boots, let you go fast, so that's the biggest reason. The second one is the positioning of them is amazing, because now you can just leave Misery Mire and finish off Desert Palace straight away, so that's really good. And then the third reason is that it actually does open up a couple of item locations now. Because we have, well, actually opens up 3, doesn't it? Which then opens up a couple more because of the book. So it opens up 2 immediately, which is the Bonkrock's Sanctuary Rubble Pile and the King's Tomb. Those 2 are both available now. And then with Aghanim clear to get that book, it would also let you check Bombos and Ether Tablet, as well as see if the ice rod's on the pedestal. Because it very well could be at this point. I wouldn't be surprised. So if the bow shows up, the pedestal would be in logic, and the pedestal could have the ice rod. It's pretty much bow and ice rod are what we are missing at this point. The bow can't be on the pedestal because Palace of Darkness is a pendant dungeon, so that is mandatory for the clear here. You know, you can't clear all the pendant dungeons without the bow, therefore you can't actually go ahead and get the pedestal without the bow. So it can't be on there. But the ice rod definitely could be. And that's where this gets a little bit tricky. I mean, it could just be that the bow is on like Bombo's tablet or something, and so we need to do it anyway. But the biggest one at the moment is really that ice rod. That is the wild card here, as Tojso not going to have quite as easy of a fight here compared to what Hitsuyan is going to have, because the sword difference actually does make a little bit of impact. But once you get past that first phase, it's really not too bad, and it was a fantastic Vitreous fight there. So, good stuff to see. So that is our like 4th crystal now. It doesn't even seem that great in terms of progress here, but we are going to have Desert Palace done very quickly too, so it'll quickly go to 5 crystals, which is fairly reasonable. So that's fine. But we'll just have to see, where else do you go at this stage? I mean, a safe quit to the Sanctuary seems like the most obvious spot. Because going into... If you're looking at this as far as I've gotten an item, this unlocks places, the next item's probably going to be in those places I've just unlocked. If you're looking at it in that sense, these boots are the last thing in the chain, and you would be hoping that they would actually yield something here. But how much do you trust that? Do you really... Like, there are 2 thoughts here. Do you go into Turtle Rock with the items that you picked up here as well, trying to find the ice rod or the bow, preferably the bow there? Or... yeah, use that red potion. Don't take any chances here, Hitsuyan. Don't be a hero. If you don't find anything that way, then where do you go from there? I think the book is one of the only places left to really check at that stage. Yeah, Hitsuyan having a little bit of trouble getting the quick kill here, but that's fine. It'll only take 8 sword slashes or spins. Gold spins do the same amount of damage. Take 8 hits to finish this off here. So, very nice. So, won't take too long for either player to finish this here. We are going to see some fire rods on Lanmo. Not too bad. Getting a gold hit as well. Very good. Clean 2-cycle. You can 1-cycle Lanmo with a fire rod, but I feel like a 2-cycle is more like consistently available. It's much more realistic to expect. Just getting a little bonk off the mushroom there. Just a random tiny thing to get hit off of, but what are you gonna do? Alright, show us then, Tojso, where are you going now? You are going to ice. Interesting. Actually, no. Oh, this is really cool. Okay, so rather than save quitting, he's actually going to use the NMG whirlpool in order to teleport here. Oh, that is really well done. Great game knowledge off of that there. No, Tojso doesn't have the mushroom because he didn't check Sick Kid. So the mushroom could also be the ice rod or the bow here. Yeah, Palace of Darkness is a pendant, but Eastern is a crystal. So the bow is necessary to get into GT. It can't be there. So then King's Tombs, the other thing we're going to see here. This is a blue rupee. Okay. What's the play, man? Are you going to go for ice, or are you going to go for the Turtle Rock play? Looks like the Turtle Rock play. Okay. I like it, because if it turns out one of the 2 items you need is in here, then that's something you would have to do anyway. If it's not the case, Turtle Rock is still a slow dungeon to double dip, but at the very least you'll have full cleared the rest of it, so you'll have all the other tools, even if this turns out to not end up being the right play for this immediate point in time. Ooh. Hitsuyan having a little bit of an awkward start in this land mode fight. It's not too bad though, he still gets the 2 cycles, so both players with their 2 cycle land mode, pretty good. So, same question to Hitsuyan here. What's the play? I imagine you would want to check the 2 boots-related items first, but then after that, where are you going to go? Bow in Turtle Rock and Ice Rod behind Bow could still happen, for sure. Because there are 2 items left in Palace of Darkness, and getting the bow by itself would also unlock the pedestal at this stage. So we're going to see the mushroom chat first. This actually could be super huge. This is the Ice Rod. Or even the bow. Oh, it's significantly worse than that. It's blue, but it's not the blue that we deserve. So Cannon Burner not exactly going to help out here. I mean, it might lead Hitsuyan towards Spike Cave, but that doesn't do anything we already know. But, yeah, Laser Bridge is in logic with that. So that could be kind of good. Meanwhile, yep, fluting to free and heading over here is definitely a signal of I'm checking the Bonk Rocks here. So, checking those places that the boots unlock. Minus the Aga play, obviously, because who in their right mind would want to do that? Hey, it's the 10 bomb. So, because of Uncle being able to give you bombs at the start now, instead of one of the 3 bomb items, that is a 10 bomb instead. So you just get 10 bombs instead of 3 like you normally would. It's pretty cool. Sometimes wish that all bomb drops would do that, but clearly not the case. Alright, so Hitsuyan just a little bit overzealous in his dashing there. Not quite getting across for King's Doom. That's all good. It's just a case of making sure we know where he's going. Alright. So, same thing as what we said with Tojso. What's the play? I think for Hitsuyan it's a little bit easier though, because he hasn't... Ah, no, okay, so he hasn't done Palace of Darkness, so yeah, it's a little bit of an easier play for him here to go for Pod than it is to go for the TR gamble. Let's see, and nothing so far in the dungeon here in Turtle Rock, but you don't expect there to be a lot in the front, you always expect it to be at the back of TR, so that's kind of where you want to go with it. Laser Bridge is almost always where it's going to be. Yeah, Cannon Burner is on Hitsuyan's side here, because that was the mushroom turn-in. So this is one of the only chests that you would still have to check if the big key was not vanilla. It is the chest here. So are we going to see a potion glitch from Hitsuyan? That's going to be the other interesting thing here. As that blue potion was picked up before coming in here. Just a small key, that's not what you want to see there. Because that implies that chest is very skippable. But then again, if you're still looking for items coming into TR, you're not going to skip that anyway. How many hearts do you need just to rush it? I believe 14 is the minimum, if you've got the hook shot. 15 is generally the way I would go for it, but that's because I'm a pansy and I don't know how to do it properly. I think 14 is around about where you want to be. Okay, so this is the other chest that you need to check in non-Go mode TR, is the Mimic Cave. So the only way that you can get to this particular bit is to mirror from Turtle Rock itself. So, and this is the longest check that you don't have to do if you're in go mode coming up to Turtle Rock. You do still need to actually go in around this way, because you don't want to gamble on the big key, the big chest even having a small key. You don't want to gamble on that not being the case, because if you do that and it turns out you have to go back, that's a massive time sink. But there's nothing in Mimic Cave this time. The bow actually can be in there, because you don't, as you've seen Tojso just now. Oh, the ice rod is in Turtle Rock. Oh no. Okay, but that doesn't give him the bow though. But if the bow's on Trinex, that's going to be really, really bad for Hitsuyan. Oh boy. Okay, so that definitely changes things a little bit. Because now that big key chest is going to get checked for Hitsuyan as well. There's no way that you would skip that. So this whole full clear of Turtle Rock is not going to slow Tojso down at all at this point. But there are 4 more chests. One of them is actually not a small key at this point. I think one of Map and Compass was picked up, so there should still be there's at least 3, but I think there's still 4 items. No, 3 items in here, because there's been a 10 bomb plus the ice rod, and there's the bow. All right, so Tojso's in go mode. Doesn't even need to check any of the other chests. Oh boy. So that Canis Samaria and Quake pick up immediately. Oh, that is something else. The Canis Samaria, and then, you know, like from the shovel, the purple chest being ether to get the boots, and then the Quake being from the hammer pegs, immediately giving the ice rod and the bow if you went into Turtle Rock. That's crazy. Okay, so the only thing that Tojso is going to need to do from here now is to go mode the rest of Eastern Palace. Unlike Hitsuyan, he's actually gone into Eastern already, so he will have the big key. He got it from the chest that you hookshot to. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a fantastic Trinex fight there, too. It can be kind of annoying to get the quick kill on the second phase there, because you need 2 good tempered spins, and then the slash there as well. Very easy to end up poking instead. Alright, Hitsuyan, that's unfortunately not where we need to be. Oh no, Hitsuyan, no! He's going to make the Aga play. He's looking at that book, going, I need this in my life. And he really doesn't. Oh no. That is not a good sign if you are rooting for Hitsuyan here. Oh dear. Meanwhile, Tojso is going to finish off his final dungeon and will pretty much be set for the rest of the game here. Has half magic, has the tempered sword, which is perfectly fine. Silver arrows, red mail, you know, the usual, right? There's nothing else that he actually needs to get. Maybe powder would be nice, but you could just buy a potion before going up the tower. It wouldn't really be much of a problem. Oh dear. Meanwhile, this is just one of those unfortunate things that it can be very difficult to justify going into a dungeon as long as Turtle Rock without the material to beat it. Because it takes so long to actually go back through that dungeon. Like, even if you have full cleared it beforehand, it still takes upwards of 3.5-4 minutes to go through that dungeon again. I should know, I've done it recently, I had to time it. So, it's very justifiable. But at the same time, this is a situation where there is, like, no perceivable right answer. Because going up Ganon's Aga Tower here is also about 4 minutes. And then you have to factor in checking the book locations too. There is just no right way about this one, and I do not blame Hitsuyan for this choice whatsoever. It's just unfortunate that as observers, we know that this isn't going to pan out. So, Tojso didn't get the sword that was on Floating Island, because at that point, he already had Tempered Sword, so he didn't need to go and get it. The 4 swords were at the Lost Woods, the Old Man on the Mountain, the Desert Ledge, and Floating Island. So Silver Arrow is just going to eviscerate the Armor Knights here. There was an item left here, so that could have come into play if we didn't have all the other stuff earlier. The other nice advantage for this dungeon being your final one for Go mode is that it's a light world dungeon, so you can just immediately flute away and go up the mountain from here. And this is actually looking like it's going to be a fairly decent seed overall, despite missing 6 items by the hour and 5-minute mark. Everything just fell into place immediately, and this is something I've been finding quite a lot with this version, is that even if you have a lot of items still to find, most of the time, things just kind of fall into place after a while, and you just end up, most of the time, getting a fairly decent run of it anyway. So, yeah, I mean, this seed has been very weird, but also pretty cool at the same time. With the obvious, unfortunate exception of that book being the bait here. But, you know, who's counting, right? So it looks like we've had only a couple of blue balls so far. Hopefully we don't get too many more here. There we go. Alright, so at least it was a relatively quick Aga fight. So as we go heading in for GT here, there is no bot for this because we are not on the Speak Gaming channel, but there is a game that tends to be played here, the good old big key guessing game. I am just going to let you guys do your thing with that because I don't normally really pay attention to it myself, but it's fine. Y'all post in numbers between 1 and 22 to see where you want the big key to be, and that'll be that. So Hitsuyan is going to go ahead and pick his book up here. Going to be very disappointed when he finds out that this book doesn't yield anything whatsoever. Hopefully, though, he does Bomber's Tablet first, then Ether Tablet on the way up, because then at least you're close to Total Rock, and you'll be able to make the play from there. So small key and the single arrow. Not going to take the bait of left side. This is something I've also been trying to do at this point. Version 29 does not seem to like putting the big key on the right-hand side unless it's in tile room. So I have also tried to avoid doing right side, which is funny because in previous tourneys and stuff, I was the guy who like pioneered doing right side just about. You know, going right side first was something that I've done for so long, but it doesn't work in this version, so don't do it. This is Cal's PSA on how to find a big key in GT. Just don't do right side. So we are going to see Bomber's Tablet first here. And 5 small keys. You don't normally get to see that. That's every small key in this dungeon is picked up already. Wow. Yeah, at least we're going to see Bomber's Tablet first here. I wonder if we would... I don't think you'd want to do a pedestal check here, right? Hey, the other single rupee, too. Looks like Ganon's Tower, full of all the useless tripe, as you would expect, but that's fine. So there we go, there's the bug net, yay. Now we can catch all the bees that we want to lag the game for Ganon, right? So, yeah, not doing a pedestal check here, which is pretty fine. You'd only be expecting the bow would be elsewhere. You'd only be expecting the ice rod to be there. It just seems so unlikely. You're really going for this book for the other stuff here. You're not going for this book to check pedestal. Alright, so we are going to see the Rando room here. So cool because this room is basically not known about by most players until they play Randomizer. Rando room is where I actually see the big key most of all, and hey, there we go. That's it. In vanilla, that room has 20 arrows and 6 bombs, so have fun. It's also really annoying to get to, but you know, it's fine. So, yeah. That's pretty much all that can be said. And we just got the gauntlet to go up as Hitsuyan is gonna go to Spike Cave first, by the looks of it. I didn't see anything off of the Ether Tablet whatsoever there. Silver Arrow is making quick work of the red mimics here. Nice strat getting through, as Hitsuyan is about to be very disappointed with those 50 rupees. I think just about the only place he'd have left to go is Total Rock at this point. And having beaten Aghanim and having the mirror, you start in the Dark World. So that, on top of the pyramid, that also makes this a bit more awkward, because you'd have ideally wanted to just start on the mountain cave here. Or not. He has other stuff to do, it seems. Check the pedestal is what he's gonna do. Yeah. Okay. Oh, lovely silver shot from Tojso there to hit the bottom Zazak. Fantastic. At least I think that's what they're called. Everybody always tells me that's what they're called. They're such annoyingly named enemies. They're definitely not as cool as the Zuma and Jima, that's for sure. Alright, so what are we gonna see on our pedestal today? It is gonna be just a little piece of love. Alright, so that book, as we knew, very much massive disappointment. Tojso getting a very sweet one cycle with the Fire Rod and Spin combo there. Awesome stuff. And yep, pretty much the only place that Hitsuyan has left to go, and he's gonna be feeling really sick on this one now. Pretty much the only place he has left to go is Turtle Rock. Oh! Shot the Cane of Samaria just a little bit too early there, not getting the bottom left guy. Yeah, Tojso's execution in general this seed has been stellar, just as I would expect from 2 runners of this caliber. Lovely lamp strats here. Getting the fire rod on the little torch just before the fire thing spins round. It's a little bit more difficult to do with the fire rod than it is with a lamp, because the fire rod has a distinct animation where you can't move from it. But the fire rod is nicer in the sense that you don't have to menu away at that point. So yeah, definitely send your energy to Hitsuyan here. I mean, it's the only place he has left to go, but it's really unfortunate the way that this has turned out for him. So send energy and get him through this. As Moldon 2 definitely not trolling this time. Just a 20 rupee. That's actually what's in that chest in vanilla, I believe, if I remember rightly. It's been a long time since I've opened that chest in vanilla, but I'm pretty sure it's 20 rupees that's in there. So now, 1 becomes 3 as we have the Aga 2 fight here. We'll see. Oh, not quite getting the first hit there, but that's fine. All things considered, we're still good to get 1 hit off of that first phase there. Oh, a little bit of awkwardness there. Still solid, getting 1 hit per cycle at the moment. Not quite moving down in time with that. That was a really, really nice one to set the triple up, but it's difficult to do that on the fly if you've not quite had the time to react to it. Still, 1 hit per cycle, pretty solid nonetheless. So now it is just down to killing Ganon and we will have our finisher. So with the Tempered Sword only, we are probably going to see Tojso spin off of the Trident here. It's a little bit tricky to set up, but if you get a solid, 3 hits in, spin off the Trident, you get 2 spin attacks. Oh, with a quick teleport. That kind of denies the 1 cycle here. Wow, that's pretty unfortunate. But still, very good place for the second phase here with the Fire Ring. You actually don't get hit whatsoever when you're in that corner. And with Tempered Sword spins, counting as 2 of your 12 hits per attack. If he's next to a wall, you can get 2 spins off. That's 4 hits per spin, pretty much. And it's very helpful to get a super quick cycle there. Yep, the Cape is very good against Phase 2 Ganon if you've got it. The Cane of Burner is significantly less good because it lags the game so much. But Tojso doesn't even have that because he didn't get the Mushroom at any point. So, as I said, Hitsuyan having a little bit of trouble getting the kill on the Pokey there. I think Tojso had some problems with that one as well. It got all the way up the screen, so that Pokey just not playing around this time. Did we find him in Death Mountain? Sure did. Have a taste. Maybe. Not this round, it seems. It's fine. We should be able to get a double off of this. And, a very quick teleport there, man. Ganon is not playing around with these teleports here, but another nice double to finish things off, and Tojso is done. GG to Tojso, coming in with a time of 1 hour, 41 minutes, and 5 seconds. Very well played. What a crazy seed that ended up being. So I'm presuming at some point we'll get him in for our post-game. But yeah, very nice time considering the craziness of this seed. And it looks like Hitsuyan is probably typing something to him at the moment. I'd imagine so. His timer is still going, so we'll see on that. As yeah, there are, of course, with Speed Racing TV, there are chats that we don't get to see. We see race chat, but there is a runner chat as well. So it's very possible that Hitsuyan is talking to Tojso in the runner chat instead of... Yeah, SCC is going to continue on here. It's good to see. So yeah, there are chat rooms that you don't get to see unless you're actually running the seed and in the race. So alright. As we find the Ice Rod for Hitsuyan, again gonna be feeling a little bit unwell after that probably. And we do see Tojso in the waiting room. Let's go ahead and pull him in here.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing, good sir?
I'm doing pretty well. I feel like that was the best I'd ever executed in a run ever.
That was pretty freaking solid, I have to say. Yeah, definitely one of those weird seeds where you had nothing going for like an hour and then everything shows up at once. It's just like Christmas all over again.
Yeah, it was basically Samaria opened up the seed.
Yeah.
I forget, was that in the shovel spot? Which then
Yes.
the shovel was in pod, right?
The shovel was in Hookshot Cave, which then led to that. But then Purple Chest having one of the medallions and Hammer Pegs having the other one to clear stuff out here. So the obvious question, I suppose, would be what fueled the decision to go to Turtle Rock as early as you did, comparatively?
Well, at that point, the only other thing I really had left was Pendant Ice. And I didn't really feel like doing that at the time. So I just went ahead and went to Turtle Rock, gambling that maybe I'm going to find either Bow or Ice Rod up there, and it happened to be both.
Yeah, as we see, Hitsuyan has just found the bow and is incredibly upset with that. Several dashes with the Kana Burner there, and then an Ether following that as well. So, yeah, pretty hard done by on Hitsuyan's part, because he had already done Ice Palace beforehand. Missed an item, though, because of not getting the hookshot clip through to the big chest. Big chest happened to have an item, never know what it is, but there was an item that he left in there, which is really unfortunate as well. And yeah, done pretty much everything else in the game, including Agate to get the book, which led to nothing, of course. And yeah, hard done by on that. But unfortunately, that's just the way things go with that. And I can definitely see the play going to Turtle Rock as well. Still, at least the seed started nice, right? Having hammer and bombs immediately is probably the best combination. Well, maybe bow is a little bit better, but basically the best combination out of the gate.
Well, there was also the flute in Lost Woods, which was amazing to me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just getting that immediate access to pretty much all of the world, and yeah, some good creative uses on stuff that way. I didn't even think about using the LNG whirlpool to get up to Bonk Rocks a bit quicker. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's one thing that I've tried to keep in mind, because save and quitting is a bit slower than fluting, so you're often better just fluting down there and then using the warp. Even fake flippering there is probably quicker than a save and quit to Sanctuary, because you still have to go out of the Sanctuary before you're in the overworld, and then go around to the Bonk Rocks, so I've been trying to do that a bit more.
Right. How comparable is that to fluting to free and then just dashing from there? Is it faster than that as well?
I would imagine so, especially if you have flippers, because the warp is right there.
Yeah. So, nice. Every time I do commentary on these things, I always end up seeing like lots of super cool stuff that I have never even considered before when it comes to strategy stuff, and that's one of them, which is very neat to see. I think Hitsuyan was about to go into Palace Darkness again there with that bow, but just realizing, wait, it's just Eastern that I have to go into, not Pod, thankfully.
Yeah. One of the weird decisions that I had to make at one point was I had access to Swamp for the longest time, but I didn't decide to go into it until after Skullwoods, because I had found the Fire Rod at one point, and I was thinking, okay, Skullwoods is one of my red crystals, I'm going to do that, then do Swamp, then go and do my pyramid stuff. So that was kind of a weird bit of routing that I wanted to try to get in all at once.
Right, because that was another early difference between you two, because Hitsuyan went straight into Swamp Palace after doing the stuff on Death Mountain. So he'd actually done Hype Cave first because he found the glove before you did, but then when it came to doing stuff in the Dark World after DM, just went straight in and did Swamp first and then went from there. So that's kind of neat seeing the differences there. I like the way your route worked out a lot better, obviously, because you got to do the red crystals first, as you say, and then just go Swamp straight into Pyramid Fairy. It's a fantastic thing to keep in mind, but obviously if you haven't actually picked up Fire Rod first, you can't really do that in the seeds. So
yeah, my last race I actually got burned because there was a second item in the Fire Rod locked section of Skullwoods, so I wanted to go ahead and check that, because I've been burned by the meme that Skullwoods always has progression, and I think this time it didn't. You know, the one time you actually checked for it, but luckily I did find the two items pretty early on, so it didn't really linger for that long.
Right, that was someone I picked up on, is that both of you actually did an early Skullwoods check here, which it's something that I haven't seen nearly as often in this version. I don't know quite why, to be honest. It seems to work out just as well as it always has done, but it's just something that's fallen out of fashion a little bit, I guess, that people don't tend to check it before they can clear it at this point. Myself included, I'm kind of guilty of that, but yeah, it was good to see it pay out this time, for sure.
Well, I kind of didn't.
Well, Titan's meant to Fire Rod to technically.
Oh, that's right.
Mario.
It did have Titan's Mitt. I
It
forgot
had
about that.
Titan's
So
Mitt, yeah. You had
so
to
it
double
did
dip
pay
it.
off. Yeah.
Because then, Fire Rod on the mountain, and then Shovel to Samaria on the mountain. Yeah, it was.
So it was
kind
pretty
of a little
important.
bit, kind of a little bit important. But yeah, it just one of those that I don't know. It's neat seeing both players do the same thing and actually working out in that sense. I don't know, was there any other like parts of this you were particularly happy with, or was it just kind of a bit of confusion, like being an hour in and still missing 6 items or something?
Yeah, that was kind of weighing on my mind because I could have dipped into a whole bunch of pendant dungeons at that point. I didn't go into pendant thieves for a long time, didn't go into pendant pod for a long time, didn't go into pendant ice for a long time, and if any of those had something that was really important, I was going to be in trouble.
For sure. It was kind of funny seeing about that hour point. Both of you ended up in Pendant Thieves Town, but you'd done the opposite Pendant Dungeons otherwise. Because, Hitsuyan had done Ice, whereas you had done Palace Darkness at that point. So it was kind of interesting seeing the subtle differences between the stuff there. But, this is one of those that you must have been feeling really nervous, and it came to, oh man, everything is in this one spot that I haven't gone to yet, and it's so late in at this point, there's no way that this is working out well.
Actually, my nerves didn't really kick in until GT, where I was basically going, okay, this is down to the wire, I just have to execute it now, and now don't screw up, don't screw up, don't screw up, don't screw up.
And you definitely didn't. There was some fantastic shots, especially in the gauntlet too. That silver snipe on the bottom, was it room 3 with the Zazak at the bottom? That was fantastic.
Yeah. Actually, one thing that Hitsuyan was saying in the racer chat on the speed racing channel was that he had mismarked Ice Palace, so that's why he went into it so early.
That actually makes a lot more sense now, because that was a pretty quick dip as far as time too, because that was before he did Skullwoods again for the other Red Crystal, and before a lot of stuff actually. So
yeah, and if it were actually a crystal, I would have probably done the same thing. Right,
because it's the next logical place to go as far as the items you've picked up, so definitely makes sense, but it's just unfortunately not working out in this fun. Is there anything else you want to add here? Or...
not especially. I feel like I said what I needed to on this one.
Well, once again, fantastic run from you here. Definitely well played, and moving up on to 2-1 for next week then. I imagine there's going to be a lot of good players coming up in that with the way this week is turning out in terms of matchups. So, how are you feeling about that?
More worried at each passing match.
Same for all of us, I think. The higher up you go, obviously the better it is for you because you're closer to the brackets, but at the same time, going to be some very tough competitions trying to stop you from getting there. Hopefully you can beat all of them out, and I'll definitely look forward to your next match as well.
Alrighty, well, thanks for commentating. Thanks for Henson for streaming and Kirito for tracking.
Yeah, definitely. It's quite an interesting crew setting up at the start here, and apologies for this taking longer to set up and stuff like that. But at least we got it down to the same right side GT here, having the cape and the powder and a heart container as well. It's like all the safeties on that side there. Interesting. That was one quick thing I was going to say as well. Sick Kid. Did you forget to check that, or was that a conscious decision?
Kind of forgot. I was going to. I think I wanted to do it when I was doing the Smithy stuff, but it just slipped my mind, which is really bad because I did not remember it the rest of the run.
Right, because I had the mushroom to go to King and Burner, so that could have been really bad if it was something important.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. Alright. I think that pretty much wraps that up. Like I say, GG once again, and yeah, best of luck in next week's round.
Alrighty, I'll catch y'all later.
Alright, so with the right side check having done here, we still have 5 small keys going in here because of the one that you get for basically cheating a key out of the right hand side. You're supposed to use that key in order to actually get to the center where the armor fight is, but if you just mirror, then you get to keep that key, so it's perfectly fine. So yeah, just gonna see the rest of the stuff here. At least for Hitsuyan, he is gonna have the powder as well, which is kind of nice at the top of GT. It's not necessary by any means, but it does put a lesser strain on the item stuff here. I don't actually know if he used that blue potion that he bought halfway through, because I didn't see a potion glitch in Palace of Darkness, but I also don't see the potion in the first bottle here, which you would expect because he's used the red potion before that. You'd expect that bottle to be filled, but it's not. So I don't know if he still has that blue. Maybe the powder is actually better than I can give credit for here. Yeah, and also did mention it at the time from speaking in the interview, of course, but Hitsuyan did kind of go around that key. That particular item, so-called Bob's Chest, is because there's an anti-fairy just above the ice armors where you actually have it glitch out if you don't pick up the item on the torch, and it's really weird, and I have no idea why it happens, but that is the correlation. And so it's do I, make Bob happen, or do I pick up this item and just leave it at that? And I don't know, that's just the decisions that you make when playing Randomizer, I guess. Seeing 17 hearts on Hitsuyan's side here as well. This seat definitely gave a lot of hearts out in the end for the way round that he went. So hopefully we just have a good GT ascent here to round this off as well. It would be a fantastic finish to this to see Hitsuyan's execution work out just as well here. I mean, you gotta be imagining with how long ago. Oh, nice damage boost there, actually. Gotta be imagining with how long ago Tojso finished that there would be a little bit of frustration coming here. It's very easy to just stay on tilt for this, for lack of a better word, but hopefully that doesn't happen here. It doesn't look like it's going to. This room is always really awkward when you don't use the fire rod, so I don't really think that's like too indicative of anything. And then depending on where everything moves here, as it does, yeah, taking a lot of hits, but magic powder is gonna come in handy for that, so it's all good. Meanwhile, yeah, Stalfos decided it wasn't going to actually move over quite so far. Gonna grab the fairy here. I definitely agree with that. That's a pretty sensible decision at that point. You don't want to use the powder in here because this room is on the landmos actually move on the same sort of timer. A little bit too early on these silver shots here. It's unfortunate. These landmo move at the same sort of timer as the previous room. So if you hang around in that previous room powdering the anti-fairy and whatnot, then it's going to make all the landmo appear at the same time in the next room, and that's going to make it impossible to get a whole bunch of silver arrow shots in. So good recovery on that, by the way, getting the 2 cycle from missing all of them on the first one. Very nicely recovered. So we'll just see how... Nope. Didn't get the turn left there, just using the block straight up. A little bit unfortunate. And also not getting the block on the first one. It's another... Both players not getting that here. This is the room where Gold Sword actually makes it easier. As mentioned that before, that is significantly easier to do. Sometimes that dash just doesn't work, no matter what you do. And yeah, I think we can definitely see here. It's a little bit frustrated about the way this has gone. I know from personal experience that once you're starting to feel it a little bit, that everything just kind of goes wrong, and then you get frustrated about that thing going wrong, and it's really easy just to fixate on everything that's bad. And it can be difficult to drag yourself out of that mindset. But despite all of that, this is still very well played going through here. It's not really been too much danger throughout all of this, and there's been nothing glaring like a despawn in the tower or anything like that, so it's still very good to see. So we are going to see the pot switch there. The throwing pots is really awkward because it doesn't quite throw from behind you, but it does throw. Oh, we're not going to try and see a hobby. Come on, be reasonable. Reasonable, Hitsuyan. We don't need to be the hero. Alright, there we go. Are we gonna see it? We're gonna see it? Yeah. Alright. So both players getting their 20 rupees at the end here. So now we just got the Aga fight to go. Which, well, there was some decent patterns in this Aga fight if you were able to get the sort of positioning exactly right here. We'll see if this ends up working out a little bit better. Yeah, like this first phase is a really weird one to set up, but I feel like this might be a little bit more viable, but getting hit by the one on the left-hand side there, kind of annoying. That could definitely be, that's the unfortunate one. It's always the fourth cycle is where the free hits could come in very easily, but it's fine. I think that was one cycle faster than Tojso got this time, so that's not too bad. Not too bad at all. Up in that bonk counter at the end here. Alright, so now, with our gold sword in hand, we just have a very, very easy Ganon fight here. 6 hits only with gold sword going into the end of this. I'll give you the Triforce. I will defeat you. Not in this run, you won't. Maybe if we only have Master Sword. Although Ganon Hugs still do 4 hearts of damage, so you can't afford to take too many of those. And for whatever reason, it looks like Hitsuyan didn't get a quick warp here. That might be something I have to ask Tojso about later, because I'm sure he'll know the reason why that quick warp happened. But I actually don't. I didn't realize that would be different for both players, because the Ganon RNG is the same for both players here. Like, Hitsuyan is going to get the same number of teleports as what Tojso did during phase 3 here. But for whatever reason, the quick teleport doesn't seem to be part of that. So I don't know. That is something I need to research. That's the other great thing about watching these things, is not just you get to look at different strategies from people and see how they end up interacting, but you also get to look at really weird things of how this game is programmed, and you get to see some pretty funky stuff come up. Don't want to go for that one. You normally get 2 warps with the torches as they are before you have to actually, pick up the next. That'll light the torch again, pretty much. So see, oh, yeah. These bats knock you in the opposite direction to your movement. So if you're moving up, the bat will knock you straight down, and vice versa. That's usually the way that people get knocked off the edge, is because they're trying to walk away from the edge, and then they get hit by the fire bat, and it knocks them in the opposite direction. It's a really weird direction sometimes too. Meanwhile, Hitsuyan finishing with a time of 2 hours, 3 minutes, and 26 seconds. GG. It's really unfortunate the way that one decision basically cost so much time in this one. This race is a lot closer than the time made it look, and all credit to Hitsuyan for finishing this one. We'll bring him on in just as soon as the audio is removed. There we go. I'll just wait for the undeafen. Because there's no point addressing him when he's not able to hear you.
Oh, sorry.
That's no worries, no worries. I'm the same way when it comes into these things. Definitely well played. This race was a lot closer than the time made it look. It's really unfortunate that book turned out to be nothing.
Yeah, and I mismarked my tracker ice as crystal, and after this I fell behind and gambled for the book. That was the only way to win, I think.
Yeah, Tojso said at the end of his interview, because you've been chatting after he finished as well, that was a missed mark, and that's also pretty unfortunate. It almost worked out with it being green pendant as well, but there just wasn't anything in there. There was an item in that big chest, though, right? I'm not just misremembering with this. I'm pretty sure there was something in that, because I know you tried to hookshot glitch to it, and
yeah, that's the item.
Right. Because I think I was trying to work out how you would still be able to get that at the time, and I think you had a small key, so maybe the crystal switch could have helped out a bit with being able to use the small key on the right-hand side, hit the crystal switch, and go back up. But I'd have to take another look, because I don't actually know. I've not been in that situation for so long. I don't know how I would have resolved that one either. So I guess the obvious question is, you're saying that going in to get the book was really the only way that you felt that you could win. Was it just that, or would it, if this was in like any other race, say, would you have made the same sort of play, or would you have gone for Turtle Rock a lot earlier?
No, in normal seats I go Turtle Rock early. That was because I felt very behind, because the mismark.
Yeah. That definitely does make sense.
And before the race start, I know that the other runner was same skill level, and after the ice play, it was a lose for me.
Yeah, the skill level thing is definitely a good point to bring up, because, as I was saying, this has been a fantastic race between both of you here. It was really, really good seeing, despite the divergent routes, like you were both in Beefstown at pretty much exactly the same time, as is sort of indicated with the stuff here. So, very, very awesome to see. And yeah, how about just not having anything after an hour, though? It's like you still got 6 items left to get after about an hour and 3-4 minutes or something. That's not usually a positive situation to be in.
Yeah, you are right.
It's like, I imagine some of that must have been weighing in a little bit as well, of going, how is there still so many items to find here? What have I not done? And then everything happens at once, and it's just...
I had everything, I think.
Yeah, I'm looking at your tracker at the moment, and it is completely lit up, with the exception of Palace of Darkness, of course, because no need to go back in there. But yeah, that's also generally not a good sign if you've got every single item. But oh well.
If the other one dipped all pendant dungeons too.
Tojso didn't do ice. That was the main one. He did Palace of Darkness a lot earlier than you. Is that sort of decision instead of ice? But other than that, yeah, it was pretty much no ice for Tojso and an earlier Palace of Darkness tip, so there was no potential for him to do the potion glitch as well, which I don't think you did there.
I tried it.
Oh, okay. I did notice you had the empty bottle, but I didn't see the items picked up at the top there. So, because I know you got a blue potion before going in. So, I guess I just missed missed the hang off of that. I apologize. It's not
I
always
saw
the
that
easiest
only
things.
one time and don't know the right position for that.
So it is pretty much when you're moving left in the room, you use the potion as you're moving left, and then you just hug the right wall when you're going up towards the bomb thing. You probably don't even need to hug the wall, but just you use the potion whilst walking left, and then you go as straight up into the gap, and you can, once you get into the next room, the camera gets dislodged.
Okay. Good.
So
Good to know.
I'd hesitate to ask, but is there anything else you want to add to this one, or
Sorry, what?
is there anything else you want to add to this one, or should we leave it at that? I hesitate to ask because it's one of those rather rough seeds that, just one unlucky decision on, but
Not really.
Well, best of luck for the rest of the tourney. It is definitely not over yet. You can still make it through to brackets without a problem if you win on from here, as I'm confident you will. So I will look forward to seeing your future races.
That is the plan. 5 wins now. 4 wins. Sorry.
Yeah. Easy done, right?
Yeah.
Hi. Thank you very much for playing.
What are your standings at the tournament?
I am currently 2-0, and I have a match on Sunday against Dalosset, so we'll see how that goes. I know he's really good too, so I might be 2-1 myself this week. We'll see.
Yeah, good luck and have fun for the race.
Thank you.
Thanks for tracking, commentating, and all other stuff.
Yeah, apologies for the delay at the start with this. We're trying to get some sort of semblance of a team together for it, and
no problem.
Yeah. Alright. So, with that said, I think we should probably wrap up here. Thank you guys very much for watching as well, and we do have some more races going on as well. Of course we do. It's it's this tournament. There's so many players in here. Over 500 in the brackets. Not even the brackets, the Swiss round. There's always going to be races going on. There's another race coming up here in about 25 minutes, which is, let me get their names right here. KLT, I guess, versus Austin Dwill. And that's going to be that's going to be on SG3. ALTTPR1 has got Iron versus Karaoke, and then BBB Kermit versus Yumi Tsubasa is already going on SG2. So plenty of races still to watch here, and yeah, just more rando, more fun. Hopefully you guys will stick around for stuff that way, but till next time, I've been Gamer Cal. Thank you very much for watching, and yeah, we'll see you for more rando later on.